y'all come on in the building. Y'all already know what time it is. I'm out here. The tailgate experience.
All right here, y'all at Royal Riot Tailgate One. Oh man, it's on. We told y'all we gonna be out at 6, and y'all know what time it is. All right.
Yo, welcome to the Tailgate Experience, man. Your host, MDJ. Today, we're going to talk about the NFL Draft, man. Exciting time. NFL new stars coming to plenty of teams, man. Today, I'm going to just go over real quick. My top 3 teams, teams who won the NFL Draft, in my opinion, meaning they upgraded the best, got the most out of their picks, the usual. So for me, I got 2 honorable mentions just to start it off. And if I don't mention your team, I don't necessarily think y'all did bad in the draft. I just think that you weren't in my personal top 3. A lot of teams had good drafts. A couple teams had some questionable picks, but I'll just go over some of the main picks that the teams made, like just in my opinion. So up first, honorable mention. I got 2 honorable mentions. The first one I got the Las Vegas Raiders. They took an interesting approach to this draft. I feel like they were going on more of a best player available type approach to this draft, but they came away with some good stuff, man. In the first round, they took tight end Brock Bowers, special at tight end, number 1 tight end on the board. They also got in the second round, who slid out of the first round, the best center in the draft, Jackson Powers Johnson. They was also able to get an offensive tackle in DeMar Glaze from Maryland, and they also got a cornerback, Camryon Richardson, from Mississippi State, man. So, I like all 4 of those guys. That's just a quick rundown on them. Like I said, they're honorable mention. The second one I got the Minnesota Vikings. One thing, the Vikings had 2 picks in the first round. And, that was big for them, man. They need a quarterback. Kirk Cousins leaving. They were able to get their quarterback without having to give up capital to trade up to get him. So J.J. McCarthy fell to them. He's probably one of the greenest quarterbacks that went in the first round, but he does have upside. Like I said, he hasn't had to do a lot at Michigan. Ain't going too far. Going to Minnesota, they're in a dome, and he's got Justin Jefferson to throw to, the best wide receiver in the NFL, man. So they were able to solidify the quarterback position without having to trade up. They also had a second first round pick in the draft. They traded up on this one from, I think, 23 or 22 to 17. They got the best pass rusher in the draft. They were able to get Dallas Turner, man. So that's something that can replace, once again, somebody lost in free agency in Danielle Hunter. Another guy that they got in the 4th round, Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon, man. Tall, physical corner, athletic, good instincts, man. I really like that draft, man. And that's just their top 3 picks. They had 2 in the first, and then they drafted Kyrie Jackson in the 4th, which I think is a steal, me personally. But on to the top three. At number 3, I got the Arizona Cardinals, man. They had 11 picks in the draft. 11. I think they had the most picks in the draft. Now, early on, I think things were falling to them perfect. I mean, obviously, they were picking 4th, and they weren't in the quarterback business. They still have Kyler Murray, 2-time Pro Bowler. When he on the field, bad motherfucker, in my opinion, man. A lot of people get on his size, but hey, he's got a special ability with that speed, and he has an arm. So they got him a weapon. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 4th pick. They came back at the end of the 1st, in the 27th pick of the NFL draft. They were able to get Darius Robinson, big defensive end from Missouri. Can stop the run, stop the pass rush. They were also able in the 2nd round to get a cornerback, Max Melton. I think he was like maybe the 5th rated corner on the board, which isn't bad to pick up in the 2nd round at pick 43. Looks like they had 2 third-round picks where they were able to get a tackle, Isaiah Adams from Illinois. I don't know too much about him, but it's definitely something that they need, man, to protect Kyler Murray. And then they got the 2nd best running back in the draft, who I personally like as a runner, as a pure runner, probably the 1st best running back in the draft, Trey Benson from Florida State. So I got them at number 3. Like I said, they had 11 picks, so they got so much more here, man. Looks like they got an edge rusher, another wide receiver, another offensive tackle, a safety, man. Like I said, they had 11 picks. And I think they made the most out of those picks, So I got them at number 3. For me, at number 2, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Story franchise. To me, they always draft well. They always find guys that fit that scheme, and they always are going to a good situation, man. Mike Tomlin is about as stable as you can get as a head coach. So with their 1st pick, they were able to get a tackle out of Washington, one of the best offensive tackles in the draft. This was an offensive lineman heavy draft. They were able to come away with Troy Fontenot from Washington. In the 2nd round at 51, a guy who I wish the Panthers was able to somehow get their hands on. They got Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. A lot of people regarded him as one of the best true centers in the draft. But yeah, they got Zach Frazier out of West Virginia in the 2nd round. They had 2 third-round picks. They picked at 84, and they were able to get wide receiver Roman Wilson out of Michigan. One thing I noticed with the Steelers, man, they got a lot of Wilsons now. Russell Wilson, Roman Wilson, just a lot of Wilsons. At 97, they got Peyton Wilson, a linebacker out of NC State. Another guy I wouldn't have minded if my Panthers would have got has some history of ACL injuries, but the last 2 years, he's been able to shake that injury bug and wreak havoc at NC State. So I think that's another good pickup for them. It seems like they always find, in that 3rd or 4th round, linebackers who are dynamic and can rush the passer and, just wreak havoc, man. So I think the Steelers had a good draft. If I was a grade A draft, I'll give them like an A+. The only reason I don't have them 1 is because the team I have 1, I think, just totally fixed their biggest need. At number 1, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, and this is mainly off of their first 2 picks. Just looking at it, looks like they got a total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They had 9 picks in this draft. Now with Philly, it's not a lot of holes and weaknesses, right? They're another team who always drafts well. Normally, they're able to get defensive linemen and just stack them. Young guys that sit behind the veterans, and when they come in, they hit the floor running. But the biggest thing that the Philadelphia Eagles had issue with last year was pass coverage. 2 things. They were the second worst in pass defense in the NFL. The other thing with them is they're having contract issues. I think Bradbury, if he's not there, contract dispute. Same thing with Darius Slay. I think they had re-signed Darius Slay for a 1-year deal, but he was looking to get paid, man. And what they did was they went and got younger. They got the best corner in the draft. As far as rank and as far as, to me, technique and ability, in Quinyon Mitchell. He went to Toledo, which is a small school, but if you look at this kid tape, man, he is strapping dudes at the Senior Bowl, at Toledo, man. Just look at his technique. Good footwork. I think he's going to be the best corner out of this draft. They also got Cooper DeJean, which I think they traded up a few spots to go ahead and get him. That's another talent that was supposed to go in the 1st round, probably the 3rd or 4th rated corner in the draft if you look at some people's lists. They also were able to come away with the edge rusher at pick 94 in the 3rd round. And in the 4th round, they got a running back, Will Shipley from Clemson, who will be coming into a good situation behind that Eagles offensive line, man. And Will Shipley is a dynamic running back. Underrated for what he did at Clemson, man. I loved him at Clemson. They had 2 5th-round picks where they were able to get wide receiver Aeneas Smith and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. in the 5th round, which I think is a steal. This is another guy. As far as linebackers go, he was at the top of the board, top 3, but they got him in the 5th round at 155. They also got a guard from Michigan in Trevor Keegan. They got a big body wide receiver, Johnny Wilson, which, in Philly, man, they're deep. They got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper. They're good. And then they also picked up a center from NC State. Like I said, it looks like they had about 9 picks, man. And I just think for what they did in their secondary, they have 2 cornerbacks who could probably start for them for the next, who knows, next 5 to 10 years, if they pan out. But they're 2 cornerbacks I was very high on. Actually, wish my Panthers were able to get Cooper DeJean in that 2nd round, one of the corners I like, man. But, like I said, if I didn't mention your team, man, let me know. Let me know what y'all did in the draft. Maybe it's something I'm missing, or, if you agree, disagree. But those 3 teams and the 2 honorable mentions, I know they did, to me, they did wonderful in the draft, man. They drafted some guys that should be able to help those franchises, man. But like I said, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and get in the comments. Let me know. Let me know what you think, man. I'll check y'all out. It's MDJ. Be easy.